Hi everyone, and hi for those joining live. So thanks very much. So I'm presenting today the IRONMAN World Championship Men 2023. That will be the first edition, and next year it will be the first edition for the women. I'm Anne Basso, USAT Level 2 coach, QT2 Systems coach since 2015, and a pro athlete now. It's been a little while, 2009. So welcome again. The overview of our presentation today will be Welcome to Nice, the QT2 Systems 5 Cornerstone, the final and race week, the athlete guide, especially the pre-race check-in logistics, the rules and officiating, the day before and race morning, the course preview, that will be our biggest chunk, and little fun things with the things to know. So welcome to Nice, home of triathlon. Yes, since 1982. I won't go over all the history. There's a lot of online from the man himself, Mark Allen, that won it at least 8 times. Paula Newby-Fraser also won it for the women. So basically, when all the hikes in Hawaii and the World Championship was going there was also the same start list back in Nice. So I guess that's how it came a little bit natural for that new race setup for the World Championship to go in Nice. So here you can see the main Place Masséna. You're going to walk by here a lot of times. This hotel is the most famous hotel in Nice, very close to the finish line, less than half a mile to go, and the famous promenade. So Nice is very easy to get by the international airport, direct flight from New York City. Once in Nice, you don't really even need a car or rental car. You can do anything by taxi, but I even recommend the tramway. So basically like a subway, but not underground, the bus. And then once you're in town, you have even city bikes. Everything will be in walking distance, even supermarkets. And nowadays, you also have the Uber ride shares. So Ironman did actually a really nice job for this time, putting in some of the bus maps and the tramway maps, so you can have more information on that. So before going into the race, I want to make sure you get to the race the best prepared, optimizing the last days toward the race. So at QT2 Systems, we have 5 cornerstones: the training, number 1, 2, restoration and day-to-day nutrition, the fueling, the pacing, and the mental fitness. So here you can see Caitlin Snow, a QT2 System pro athlete, and I believe she won Nice in around 2015 or so. So she applied all our principles to nail the course and all its specificity. The final weeks to race day. So the training. For the taper, you want to do your key race specific sessions, so it can be low cadence for the bike to prepare the ears, making sure you know your tempo effort that you need to use on race day, but also the easy sessions. Remember, this is part of your training. Fueling, we always recommend that you prepare for race day and that you fuel every session to restore, have the energy for training, and also to optimize your gut resistance on race day. Preparing for race day also means that you want to optimize your open water skills. So think specificity. You want to know how to swim with the wetsuit or the swim skin. Make sure you have a good direction with the turning buoys and etc. You want to test your goggles too if it's dark or very bright. And this is something you want to make sure that you have no doubt before race day. You want to make sure you have the cycling skills needed for the race, the bike specificity, and make sure that you have the gears that you will need on race day. The run, nowadays, it's as technical as cycling. You want to make sure that you have the right shoes with all the technologies, and that you don't use a super shoes that is not going to work for you in a triathlon, and based also on the terrain that it's going to be on. You also want to know the weather conditions, check to anticipate. Also know that if it's a normal condition, 80 Fahrenheit, weather is not 100% certain. So you want to make sure that you prepare for a rainy day or a colder day. So the final weeks to race day training, you want to make sure that you train your race target. So what does it mean? You want to know your heart rate. You want to know your pace and power. And you also want to know your perceived effort, so your rate of perceived exertion. This is important in case for some reason the battery dies or you don't know why your heart rate doesn't connect with your Garmin equipment or Polar or whichever technology you're using. So this is something that you want to practice in training. You want to have your numbers, but you also want to know what the perceived effort feels to you. On the final weeks, remember there's no real fitness gain. So really what you're going to improve is maintain through the frequency, optimize the feel for workout. You're going to have a little bit more time for rest days and do other things to make sure once you're at race week, you don't have to do those things. Do not overtrain. That will be a high risk for a poor race. And panic train, that means. You want to optimize the recovery potential. This is the key to be rested and to be sharp on race day and excited and do the best that you can be. So the final weeks to race day, nutrition and restoration. Hydration is key. For ease, I like to have my gallon of water with some minerals that I can use add to it. It's a minimum of half your body weight, but at least if you get that gallon, you're spot on. You want to have replenishment meals. So the day before a long run, make sure you get a lot of carbs and not many fat. You want to have nutrient-dense food. Think antioxidants. That's key to optimize your recovery. So that's 4 servings of fruits, 4 servings of vegetables. And it includes your omega-3s. That will improve your sleep, improve your muscle restoration, and feeling optimized for the race. Caffeine, you want to taper it down to 800 milligrams. So to make sure that on race day, it's efficient. Sleep, you want to make a minimum, if possible, of 7.5, 8 hours will be perfect. If it's more than what you usually get, that's already something that you can take in. Stress, you want to reduce it, and often all you want to reduce it is basically to plan ahead and know what can cause stress to reduce it. The post-workout, you want to make sure that you always have your recovery drink. And the fueling, I'm repeating a little bit here, but make sure you practice as on your race plan. So the race week, nutrition and restoration. So it's taking back a little bit what you did for training up to here. You want to maintain a normal diet. If it's really hot, you want to make sure that you add salt to meals. You want to do a fat load meal 5 days before the race, carb load 2 nights before the race and the morning prior to the race. Hydration, again, you want to hydrate a lot, but make sure that your water has electrolytes. If it doesn't contain electrolytes, make sure that you add like a salt cap, use Gatorade, Noon, for example, to make sure that you get your salts. And this is especially true for the last 3 days before the race. Fueling, again, you want to each session, make sure that you eat during your session like you're going to do on race day, and use the same products that you'll use on race day. Caffeine, it's not the time yet to take your caffeine, so taper it down. If you can have none, that's even perfect. So like this on race day, it will be optimal. Sleep, you want to make it again a priority. Most of you guys that are listening probably my presentation today will have a jet lag from 7 hours to 10 hours. So you want to get used to the local hours almost right away. And you want to use the sunrise walks to get your metabolism used to the new hours and the new sunlight. So if you needing extra sleep, always add a nap. Rest, you want to stay as much off your feet as much as possible. That means you don't want to walk more than you're used to. And if you can do even a little bit less, that's optimal. So race day pacing and fueling. Fueling, remember, is key to your race success, especially for an Ironman. So you practice it, but don't forget to use it on race day. And remember, you're the one that control what you take in. So remember to prepare your fueling for race day before leaving, so you have it on race day. Pacing, again, plan ahead. You have plenty of time in training to practice. Like this, you will know your heart rate, you'll know your power, and you'll know your perceived effort. This is a way also to boost your confidence when you're racing. This way, you'll be able also to control the effort, even if you don't know the race course. Coming to knowing the race routes. So I'm glad you guys come in, knowing a little bit what the course is going to look like is going to help you pace your swim, bike, and run better. What you can anticipate, you can control. So race ready, mental fitness, our 5th cornerstone. Some of the things you want to be aware, external pressures, there will be limiters. So you want to be aware of them and you want to reduce them as best as you can. Even if you make little achievements there, they are bigger than you think. You want to have the right focus. You can control your pacing, your fueling, and your attitude. So if something goes wrong, always reset your mindset to what you can control, and you'll surprise yourself at the end and be very proud of yourself. Trust your preparation. I mean, you already qualified for the World Championship. You are doing a lot more than you're thinking to be ready for a race. So see this as an accomplishment already. Visualization is big. I always love to have athletes use it in training, but don't forget to do it also on race day and imagine your race as best as you can before the race. So see yourself having a great day. It may not be 100% the case throughout the race, so see yourself adapting to the challenge and overcoming those challenges. Know your own goals and set your targets. So you want to have goals that you know you can achieve, any metrics that you can control. and have targets. I like to see it as A, B, and C. A is something exceptional. B is like already the perfect race, and C is a little bit under, but in the end, it's a very solid effort. So if you have a range, that always gives flexibility when you're racing. Internalize your feeling in training. So try to not have so much emotion as you go through the race and save them for the finish line. Appreciate and be grateful. Measure your training and your dedication. I mean, what you're doing daily and qualifying to the World Championship, be thankful and know that you are ready to race. So that's a little bit of our QT2 cornerstone philosophy, and I hope those little tips will help you optimize the final details to race day. And now here we're going to go into the race specific for Nice, going through the athlete guide, the documents, the race course, and all the things that can help you for racing. So at the athlete checking, you must select your athlete checking time online before going. Oh, sorry, I missed this. I'm going back. So the required documents for the race, you must have a valid triathlon license. So that means for USA Triathlon, I'm assuming most of you guys are USA Triathlon, you will need to purchase one-day license from the French Federation and submit a valid medical certificate on the app DokiOp. So if you go to ironman.com on the athlete guide, they have all the links to do this. If you have any question on this and cannot find it, at the end, I have my email, so you can always connect with me and I can help you getting this set up. So here is the medical certificate. This is what you have to print and get signed by a doctor to show that you can basically do a sport activity. So checking, for the checking, you must select your check-in time like any Ironman race. You want to bring your ID, you want to bring the QR code from active.com, and you want to print out the license that you purchased and the medical certificate, just to make sure if they don't have it, you can show it to them. So in the race packet that you will receive, you will have 2 bib number, but only one will be actually used on the run in the front. You're going to have stickers for the bike frame, the helmet, and your bags. You're going to have one swim cap, one athlete wristband that you're going to wear from the check-in to the end, the banquet of champions. You're going to receive a ticket for the bike checkout and 5 bags. So make sure that you have all the bags at pickup. Again, that's to reduce stress to not go back and find the bag that is missing. So gray is for morning clothes, blue is for bike gears, red is for run gears, yellow is the run's personal needs. You are actually going to have 4 times access to that. And green is the bike personal need. This will be a one-time access on a flat portion in the middle of the race. The timing chip is at bike check-in, so you won't receive your timing chip at race packet. So for the gear check-in, it's mandatory check-in on Saturday from 11:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I know by experience, 6 p.m. is really their closing time. They really don't like after that. So make sure you get before 6. When you walk in transition, you have to wear your helmet and have it clipped. That's a way for official to make sure that it's working. Your bike, the bib number, you also want to show that it's securely attached to your racing belt. They're using 2 points, but in France they used to have 3, so I would even add a third one just in case. The bike gear is the blue bag, and the run gear is the red bag. This is when you're going to drop off those bikes. You cannot do this on race morning. They are not allowing a bike cover. You can cover your components if you like. The helmet is going to have to be in your bike gear bag. Nothing can be on the bike area. Everything has to be in the gear bag. You will not have access to the gear bag on race morning, and I'm pretty sure they won't let you access it. You are going to receive the timing chip, so that's the chip strap and the MyLabs Pro chip. If you lose it, you can always, they have spot where you can get another one. And make sure that your name is correct. So I'm looking at the chat. So in case I don't see the chat, I think you have also a little sign to like kind of alert me. But thanks, Brian, for your question. Yes, the run special needs, I'll talk about it again, but you will have access every 4 laps. So that's kind of neat. That can make a big difference. So this is a little map of Nice. So here is basically the transition area. This is a big garden that you'll see easily called Albert Ier. The blue dots are going to be the access that you'll have on race morning. This is the main avenue, Jean Médecin. This is the first picture I showed with the Place Masséna with the pink building. And basically the Ironman village is going to be here. All of this area, and here is the old town. So it's not really big. You can easily walk from here to here. So before the race, it'll be nice that you check the area so you know it pretty well. So the swim is 2 loops this way. And you are going to be able to do the back drop off just where the swim start is. So I have to go a little bit over the rules and officiating. Remember, a blue card is 5 minutes penalty now. If you get 3 penalty, you have a DN, you're out. So make sure that you don't do that on a World Championship, especially. The time penalty are for drafting and blatant littering. On the bike, you have to stop at the closest penalty tent, and on the run, it will be at the point of infraction. Don't do any verbal abuse of marshals, race officials, Ironman staffs, and the volunteers. This is an immediate DQ. And obviously treat other athletes, all referees, all volunteers, all staffs with courtesy and consideration, and apply sportsmanship. Just be kind and enjoy being in the race. So some of the violation summary, you always want to ride on the right side. Right side with all the turns. You may find an excuse why you're not on the right, but remember it's actually for your safety, and they can call for illegal position and blocking. So you don't want to have that. Keep 6 bike length. I believe this is fairly new for the amateurs. So make sure you know the distance. always pass on the left to not have an illegal pass. And when you pass, it's 25 seconds, so you don't get the drafting call. If you are passed by another athlete, make sure you drop back the 6 bike length fairly quickly. And do not repass before having that distance set. If not, they can call for a drafting call. The other things where you can get a yellow card are, for example, if you don't strap your helmet, if you do littering, if you have unauthorized equipment, outside assistance, and apparently one that happened, urinating in changing tents. So that's other things where you can get a yellow card. Something, if you guys watch the 70.3 World Championship with the pros, some got a penalty for crossing over the middle line. So that's one of the traffic laws you want to respect. Race morning. So this is the transition area. If you remember, I showed you the Parc Albert Premier with 2 blue dots. This is the entrance that you are going to use on race morning. So make sure that once you drop off your bike on Saturday, that you check those 2 gate entrance. Because on race morning, again, you want to reduce the stress by not finding where you're going. To get ready before going to transition, you're going to have race tattoo. I know it's been a while. I was surprised to see it, but I did see it on the athlete guide that you're going to have tattoos. You want to have your athlete wristband and your timing chip. Bring your swim cap, goggles. I will bring wetsuit and swim skin unless you are 100% sure it's not swim skin. When it's closed, I've seen it in Europe when in the morning they call for the wetsuit. So that will be a huge disadvantage if you don't have it. And bring your special needs bag. Again, the way they set it up, even if you're not used to have it on an Ironman, maybe this course is well suited for it. Transition 1 opens at 5. Not earlier, and closes at 7:15. So I mentioned it when I showed this slide. You're going to have 2 gates, gate B and gate C. These are the Verdun and Max Gallo are the name of the street. So make sure you check where it is. It will be simple once you're there, but that's just something you want to know how to enter. You will have pumps available and bike technicians. Bib number are only going to be on the run, and keep it as on the front as much as possible. In France, usually officials are enforcing this fairly often, so make sure that you have a race belt that doesn't move too much. So for race morning, you want to plan to be 25 minutes before the your wave start. Make sure you follow this timeline just to make, because it gets crowded. It's a world championship. It's the first one. There'll be a lot of music. So it would be nice to have that 25 minutes to actually find a calm moment to get ready. As you walk toward the swim start, the drop-off will be, it seems pretty easily with the morning clothes on the way. Use the breathing pattern 7-11. Sit down, relax. I assure you the Mediterranean Sea is beautiful, so take all the energy in, visualize your day, a great day, and make the most of this moment, this special moment. Don't forget your hydration and your gel if you take one, or a bar. With all the excitement, the new setup, it can be actually easy to forget it. So make sure you have a mental note to not forget it. So I checked the weather today in Nice right now at night. It gets in the 60s Fahrenheit, so fairly cool. And in the afternoon, it can get all the way to 90 Fahrenheit. So It can be a warm day. Also remember, you are going to run along the sea, so it's very exposed, and the light reflection on the water makes it warmer. And Nice is not Hawaii, but it's still 60% humidity, so it can, if it's a hot day, it can give you a nice challenge here. So transition is here. You're going to walk through here, and the bag drop-off is going to be here just before the start. As you can notice here, it's not an Australian exit. You are going to swim 25 meters from the two loops. So here is the Ironman swim map. I love swimming there. It's, the Mediterranean is very buoyant with the salt. You're not going to get much wave, but use it on the way back. It's always a nice swim pace boost at the end. So like I said, bring both wetsuit and skin suit. If you are just, unless they say 100% sure, skin suit, just because the water is so warm. Right now it's at 76.5 Fahrenheit. I checked this today. And the Ironman World wetsuit is 76.1. For the athlete cutoff, it's 2:20 from the wave start that you start at. And the access to the bike closes at 10:10. Just so you know, the race officially starts at 6:50 a.m. for the professional. And then it's waves by age group. So the swim finish here, then you have a long transition area. So don't rush when you exit. Take the time. Nice is actually not a sand beach. It's big rocks. So I know they're going to put carpets, but kind of take a moment to have that sensation under your feet. Breathe, get used to the horizontal vertical position switch. And once you get all of this settled, you can start running a little bit faster throughout the transition area, even if you're competing to win the age group. So here, sorry, I wanted to show here is the picture of the transition area. So it's going to be pretty long. So the bike, a lot of details I'm going to get into. I put a lot of pictures, just so you have an idea of the bike setup. The pictures are not as nice as the actual race course, but I hope that's going to give you a nice idea. So it's one big loop, so you won't see any spectator during the race, except for the people watching through the town you're going to go. I like to split the course in 3 parts. It's basically 1/3 of flat, 1/3 of uphill, and 1/3 of downhill. So basically you start with a 5K flat, and then right away you're going to climb all the way to about 35 miles here to the mountain pass Lake. Then all of this is flat. This is where you're going to have a lot of aid station, your special needs. You're going to want to be aware because there's a lot of twists and S's, as we call it on Swift, but it's still fairly flat. So you really want to make sure you put the power down. Then you're going to have the downhill, another 5-mile climb, and then a very long downhill where you can actually recover. So the feeling in the legs and your recovery before you start the run is actually going to feel a little bit like a 70.3. It won't be the same as a purely flat race like Florida, where you're always at a constant power. So use each section to your advantage. For the gears, I recommend to have a cassette that goes all the way to 28. and a small chain ring, just to make sure you go through the climb with all the gears that you need to not overgear it and do a too low cadence up the climb. For the more limited, you want to think a compact. So think high mountains. There will be no pass zones. So before at the athlete race briefing, just you can check, but it's at 5K. So 3 mile, 81 mile, and 109 mile. If you pass in that zone, you will have a blue card, so 5-minute penalty. So this is once you exit the promenade and all the picture that you saw of this, you're going to exit the town past the airport, and this is all the way flat. So here you are actually crossing over a river called le Var, and you are going to go from here down to a perpendicular basically to here. So this is an industrial zones that you will enter. At that first roundabout, you are going to exit the 3 miles, so the 5K, to start your climb. So this part is going to be very flat and very fast. I cannot show you the turn, the official turn, because on race day they're using not a traditional traffic directions. So this is why I cannot show it to you. Watch out. So this roundabout here with the palm tree, you are going to go around and turn. And once you turn, it switched right away to a steep climb, almost right away. So that first climb, not the steepest part, but the total climb will be 6 miles. And it's from 6 miles to 12.5 miles. So I put it in red. Be aware to change gear. You don't have to do it before you see it, but just anticipate it. It will be short and steep. And once you've done that part, it's less than a mile. Then it's basically a gradual climb going from 4 to 7% to the town of Lagode and Vence, Saint-Janet to Vence. You're going at the top, you're going to have your first 8 stations, so at 12.5 miles. The next 8 station will be in the part of the main climb of the race in the town of Gourdon. So here is just to show you a little bit how you start going up through some of the residential parts. And then you're basically exiting the city, and now you're going to go on top toward the village. So here again, you're still close to the main seaside city before going up to the village. So they often mark the course with these Ironman blue dots. So if you see them, that's what they're for. So remember, it starts sharp, but then it's gradual. So then you'll have about 20K of false flat. It's pretty nice. It's a parallel in the mountain to the sea. So it's not really twisty, but it just curves in and out. And you'll see all the village that you'll go to. And then once you start going downhill, this is the downhill, like here, to Pont-sur-Loup. This is the last. After that, you're going to start the major climbs of the race. So as you come here and you see that little house, you're going to turn right, like I showed here. And as you turn right, it's actually going to be, again, fairly steep. So use the speed of the descent to gain advantage in pace for the climb. It's going to be steep for about 2 miles. So here is the uphill that you're going to. You're going to go, the Gorge du Loup means basically canyons. So you're going to go up through the canyons. So you have tunnels This one is actually short. You have another one that is a little bit longer. So just be prepared to ride a little bit in the dark. Because you're going through the valley, you're actually going to switch side, go over a bridge, and then make a sharp left turn. The second aid station will be at mile 33, right in the middle of that long climb. So remember, it's a 12.5 mile climb. I'm going to describe it a little bit in more detail later. It's steady at between 6 and 8% once you pass that first steeper spot at the beginning. The pass is called Col de l'Aigle, and the top will be at 37 miles of your race, and you will be at 3,600 feet. So here's how we map passes. So this is the kilometer 0 for the climb, all the way to 18.7. So it's a 11.6 mile climb. So the colors show the percentage of incline. So blue is from 5 to 6 or so. The green are closer to flat, and the yellow is above 7. So for the first kilometer, I know it said it's steep. It's the reason for it. It's because for 1K, it's the average for 1K. So that means at the beginning it's steep, and at the end it will be flatter. But then all of this 1K section are pretty constant. So there won't have a change in elevation as much as within the first 1K. So this is the summary of your climb. So think Tour de France, that's your major climb of the course. You're going to climb 3,000 feet or so. The average is going to be 4.9%, and the maximum is 8%. And it starts at the Pont du Loup, right after the descent I mentioned. So this climb gets, at the beginning, because of the canyon, it's shady, but as you move through the climb, it's going to be very exposed, and the last half of the climb is like super exposed. So if it's a very nice day, it can get quite warm. So you want to keep cool and hydrate. You want to stay patient through the climb, and you always want to make sure that through the flatter section, you don't lose power. This way, it's also a nice way to keep a good momentum and to go better for the next steeper section. The goal is to control your heart rate and to choose the best gearing to keep a smooth pedal stroke. So here I'm putting a little bit more pictures. Excuse me. So you're going to go up to Gourdon. So here is how you go up past the canyon. So as I said, you're starting to get more sun exposition. Every time you go through a town, you have a sign. So I'm going to zoom in. So you see the town Gourdon. Here is the little town, and right here you have you will have an aid station. So on the far right of your screen, this is when you start getting to the second half and climbing toward the pass. So this part is really like a Alp mountain stage. So I use this little graph. I think it's really helpful to summarize. So if you check on ironman.com, you can download the GPX if you like to do it on your own, and then go on Best Bike Split. So from Best Bike Split, you'll have this graph. You'll have the entire bike course, and you can also check with Google Maps. This is how I did, like the little screenshot of the photo you just saw. So like this, you can go and maybe check more details that I put in. So you basically started from 0K. I'm also talking in Ks just because I know on the race you're going to see it. So it's also good for you guys to have an idea of the Ks and the miles. So from 0 to 5K, it's flat. Then you have that little steep section. I put a darker accent to it. Then this is a rolling flat, two Lagos to Vence. If you did the 70.3 World Championship in 2019, this is actually the same start. But as you get to Vence, where the aid station is, you want to you're going to take another direction. And then at Tourette-sur-Loup, this is where you're going to have the descent before the steep incline and starting the mountain pass climb. So now you're actually done almost the 1/3 climb of the race. Not completely, because you still have a 5-mile climb and a 2-mile false flat up. But the main one is done. So actually, this is the time you want to stay alert and make sure you put the power in, because you have 25 miles of flat rollers. I use the term S's just because probably a lot of you guys do Swift. So if you do the France route, that's where you have all the zigzag. So this can be distracting. So make sure you stay on top of your heart rate pacing and your power pacing. So I put like a big red at 41.5 mile, just because it's an unexpected sharp turn at the end of the descent. So just know that sometimes it can be really smooth and everything goes well, but always prepare for an anticipated turn on the course. This section is going to end with a hot back section that is flat. So make sure your IRO, yes, you can ride your TT bike and use it. So this is the part where you do the hot back. So for the two picture here on your left, so basically you're coming down the D12 and making the sharp right turn, and this is the back view. So I'm sure you'll remember it from the presentation. So we're still in the same section. This is the section where you have a lot of aid station. So it's right in the middle of your race. So make sure you use it. The first one is at 45 miles. So after the big climb. The second one is special needs. I'm pretty sure it will be fairly easy to grab. So make sure if you need it to use it. It's at 50 miles. And it will be in the town of Andon. The third aid station in this section will be fluid only. So you will have Gatorade, Red Bull, and water. So you will have nice stretches like this flat. Again, optimize your TT aero position. You may get like little sharp turn like this, but this is mostly flat. So this one goes pretty smoothly. And then at the end of the aid station, on the Ironman map, you can see all the zigzag here. So I thought to put pictures to show you. So this is basically those zigzag. So it goes a little bit down, so make sure you anticipate it. So a little summary of this section. So 40 mile to 70 mile. Here you have highlighted the aid stations. So make sure you use them. Remember, you did the main effort of this race with a 20K climb, and you will have other climbs to do after the 8K, and you will have the LK that will come up after this 31 mile section. You have two aid station, full aid station at mile 43 and 68 also. And the special needs is at 50 mile. So here is where we are on our little map. So you did all the little flat section with all the aid station. So now we are going to prepare for the first downhill and the last longer climb. So the downhill will start once you enter the village of Gréolière. So be aware of you're going to go through small roads that will come down with hairpins and solid turns before you get in town. So here you're going to come from the scenery I just showed. Once you get that turnabout, then you're going to make a right, a left into town. So here is the town of Gréolière. This is where you probably have seen a lot of village picture of cyclists going through the town. This is the town that it showed. So if you check out the course by car, you won't be able to access it the same way as the Ironman because it's a one-way street. Then you enter through town here and you keep going through the street. So once you exit the town of Gréolière, you are actually going to have like a roundabout where you're going to stay left. Again, you're going to go down here, so make sure you're preparing for the left turn as you exit the roundabout. And this roundabout is the mark of the start of your next climb, the 5 mile climb, so the second climb of the race. The climb goes through like this type of forest, so it zigzag up. Once you're at the top, you're going to have an aid station again. So the climb is called Côte de Saint-Pons, and it will end at 79.5 miles. Once you passed it, you're going to have technical short downhill toward the village Coursegoul. So here's the village that you're going to go to, but first you're going to go down with a sharp left turn, right turn, left turn, and then passing the bridge. And here you're going to climb up. It's actually a steep climb going through the town. When you exit, you'll know because you pass a fire station. And at the top, you're going to start the main downhill of the race. So if you guys did the 70.3 World Championship course, once you start the climb toward Coursegoul, it will be the same course as the 2019 70.3 World course. So here we just did this section from the village of Gréolière, the roundabout, and then up Saint-Pons and up to Coursegoul. So now we are entering the descent. So it's 20 miles of descent. It's a good way to recover, but you also want to stay alert. It's broken in 3 parts, and there will be a short rolling climb, but it's really not steep. It max at 4%, and you can, for some of you guys, you may do it on the big ring. Again, that's the same course as the 70.3 World in 2019. It starts at the exit of Coursegoul or 80 miles. The first section is toward the village of Bouillon, so you want to watch out for twists and some hairpins. So here I showed a Google map of the town of Coursegoul to Bouillon. I highlighted with the red just so you guys can see that there's like some steep like curves, and basically that's where you want to anticipate and make sure you descend the pace. So here you can see it's twisty, but it won't be technical. Here you're going to have that that is here, turn, so you want to anticipate it. But usually when you have a sharp turn like this, if you look forward, you're going to see that basically that the road is switching. So make sure that you don't, when you stay aero, even if you hydrate, that you always have kind of your eyesight going forward. And here again, when you make the sharp left turn, you can see like the next side of the mountain, and here you can see the road basically going down. So you know you're going from here to here, so you have a sharp left, but at one point you're also going to have a sharp right. So once you go through the first village of Bouillon, so basically you're going to have steep curve, speed bumps. In small town, there's a lot of speed bumps, and also hairpins. I put an accent that at the end of a descent, you're going to have a speed bump. So how do you know you're going to have is there a signal? So yes, there is. Every time you have a speed bump, you have that sign or that little blue sign. They can be with concrete or those little red ones. So yes, you can go in between, but they have like, they are probably 3 inches high or so. So you want to make sure you stay straight, and it's safe that there's not another cyclist with you, because you won't be able to turn your wheel in between. So this little yellow, sometimes they add this on the routes because there may be a steep curve, or you can have rocks on the ground. So make sure that whenever there's a sign like this, that again, you raise your eyesight and that you're alert that something is coming up. So here is the descent of Bouillon. You're coming down. And again, if I didn't highlight it here, you will see the road. So basically, you know, once you get toward the end of the valley, you are going to make another left sharp turn to go on the other side. And here is the end of the descent. And at the end of the descent, you have a speed bump. But again, you have that blue sign that shows it. So with your eyesight up, you'll be able to see it right away. And they are not like huge one. They kind of progress up. So as long as you brake a little bit, it's pretty smooth for the bike to go over. So here we are finishing the first section of the downhill, and the second section, it's a false flat up. So here it's going to go up to maximum 4%, going from 1 to 4%. It goes up for 2 miles. But some of you guys can do it on the big chain ring. And at the end of it, you're going to have an 8 station. So here we just did the descent, and here will be the 8 station at 90 miles. The 8 station is settled here where you have more trees. And all of this is false flat up. Again, I put that sign, the watch out sign. It means that there may be some rocks on the road. So once you pass that 2 mile climb up, you have a third section of the downhill, goes through 3 towns. So every time you're going to go through the village, you're going to have a speed bump and other construction for pedestrian. So it will take another 7 miles before you get to the sea levels. So I put again some pictures of the town. Here you're going through Le Broc. So here you have a lot of the sign for the speed bump. This one, you actually don't have the sign, but you can see the triangle, the white triangle, and the change of colors. So that means it may not be as high, but there's a little bump on it. Again, this is one again, and this is all the road is going to look like as you go down. So the downhill is not like super steep. It max probably at 8, but average between 4 and 7%. So here the next town is Carros. So you're coming from here. As you get closer to town, you have the spin bump with the sign, spin bump. Often you're going to have a roundabout. So here you turn right. As you exit town, you're going to look for the sign, Gatier, the next town. So now the last one, this is the last town before you're coming down to the valley in direction of the Saint-Laurent-du-Var and 0 feet. So you want to watch out for the narrow roads, hairpins. Just be aware of change of direction and potential speed bump. But now you're getting the expert of it, so you'll be fine. So here at the exit of town, you see that building coming into the roundabout and bearing right. Here you see the direction for Saint-Laurent-du-Var, so you're going to exit the town and go down here again. This one starts a little bit sharp at the beginning, so 7%, maybe 8%. You'll get some sharper curve, and it's pretty narrow. Here you cross over, and again here you have that road that change side. So at the bottom we're going to have another sharp turn. So here is the sharp turn to go over the bridge. Going down, but it's not. It starts to flatten quite a bit now. So you want to start to put back power. So again, remember that when you spin over 100, that doesn't, you don't need to ride, but whenever you can put some pressure on the pedals, make sure that you put it. So here you're getting back to 0 feet, and now we're going toward Saint-Laurent. So this is like really flat. Remember, put back some watts and be aero. So we just did all of this section. So the little up was very short, and you did all of this down here. So as soon as you get on the flat, make sure you get a good cadence to get your legs ready and start thinking about the run. So here is the valley, the flat valley. So at first it's countryside, then it gets into industrial zone. Here you're turning into the industrial zone. So you have 2 turns to change a little bit of direction. And then as you get in the residential area, you're basically getting really close to the promenade again. So check your fueling. You have your last 8 station and start preparing for the run. So the 12.5 mile of flat, you follow a large river called le Var, and you're on the road M95. So when you follow the sign, you can see it. At the end, you're going to have a big hairpin to go back on the bridge of the first slide we went through for the bike. So here it is. You're coming from here, and this is the back view. Basically, if you're not turning right, you're going to the big shopping mall. So you can anticipate it. So passing the airport means Nice is coming. So here is the international airport. This is the same picture as the first slide of the bike. As you get in town, this is the city bikes. And then you can start seeing the Mediterranean Sea. And as you get into this section, you may see runners or you may not, at least the professional male, and you're going to come here. So we are doing this last stretch. So from the airport to transition, you have about 4 miles to go. So bike cutoff, 10 hours 50 to complete the bike session from the swim wave start. Intermediate cutoff are at the town of Gourdon, so in the middle of the long climb, or 33.3 miles at 1 p.m. And the second bike cutoff is in the second main climb, Côte de Saint-Pons, at 80.5 miles at 4:55 p.m. In order to return to race site safely, you'll have an Ironman SAG vehicle. So as you ride in transition, remember you're going to ride along the transition area. All of these sections, stay alert. There will be a no passing zone, remember, so make sure you know where it is. Obviously, there will be a lot of spectators. They are happy to see you again. So make sure you stay alert and start preparing for your run. So the run won't be as long as the bike. It's really simple. 4 times out and back of 5K along the Mediterranean Sea. So it's the promenade in full. So be careful for the pacing. Make sure you don't burn matches on that first 10K. You may feel really good. Remember, you just went down a long downhill and then 5K, a short section of flat. So you may feel a lot fresher, but you still just did the swim is the same. The bike, you still rode the 112 miles and you still have the 26.2 miles. So overall in the day, the effort you put in don't change. It's just the way you did it. So make sure that the first 10K, you pace yourself. Special needs, you will have access 4 times to special needs at 3.7 mile, 10.3 mile, 16.8 mile, and 23.3 mile also. So it's actually quite nice. Usually you have access only 1 time. So if you need it, use it. So here's a little bit how the run is going to look like. I'm sure for the World Championship, you'll have even nicer finish line. But here you see this is the Parc Albert Premier, where you walked in the morning. The finish line is going to be here, that blue carpet. The 2 section, the finish line, and here where you do the turnaround. Here you can see it a little bit more up close, and this is the other side when you pass the airport in front of the Botanical Garden, Park Phoenix. You're going to make the turnaround and you're going to go up over the grass. So it's 5K straight toward the airport. You have 17 hours to complete the race. The run intermediate cutoff will be at 19 miles. So when wrapping up the 3rd loop at 11:15 p.m. So I couldn't put a real finish line for the World Championship because it's the first time. But basically, once you get to the historic hotel, Le Negresco, you'll see once you're there, it's really easy to see. You're basically at 1K to the finish line or a little bit over half a mile. So the bike nutrition, I put here a summary where you'll have them. You have 8 of them, with the 4th one that will be fluid only. So you'll, if you want to mark them on the stem of your bike or something, this is the exact distance. So you have Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Then you'll have Sport Top bottles, so they'll be pretty easy to grab. Water, cola, Red Bull, bananas, the Mortin gels, caffeine and non-caffeine, and 226ers energy bar. Run nutrition is basically the same with more fruits and salty crackers. You'll have one every mile, and it's super, super easy to see them. So because of the bay, the shape, the way it's shaped, basically once you pass one aid station, you'll see the next aid station. So it's actually great for pacing, to keep you focused on the fueling, hydration, and your effort. So the Gatorade, watch out, it's not the same as on the USA races. They are not giving out the endurance formula. They are giving the Gatorade thirst quencher, and that makes a huge difference. So the carbs are the same, but the sodiums are much different. In the endurance formula that you're used to race with in the US, you have 300 milligrams of sodium, whereas the thirst quencher, you only have half of it. So if you're a heavy sweater, losing a lot of salt, you really want to make sure that you find your salt somewhere. So plan ahead. The potassium is the same. In the endurance formula, you have 140 milligrams. And here you only have 45 megs. So think banana if you don't have it in your gel or other bar that you're using. So account for less sodium in the Gatorade you receive and less potassium. If your stomach starts bloating, remember that's a sign you are not having enough sodium. And if your fingers are tingling, that's a sign that you have less potassium. So in that case, for the salt, make sure you get a salty thing like crackers or a gel or a bar that contains more salt. And for potassium, any fruits, but mostly bananas will help a lot. So the gel, they kind of have the same problem. They don't have much sodium in it and no potassium. So check those signs. Something that is great about Mortin gel, though, it's smooth on your gut. You do get the 25 grams of any gel, and it's a great source of sugar. So it's very well assimilated by your body using the glucose-fructose mix. So this was all you need to know for the race. Now I'm adding in some little things to know that are more specific for being in France, racing in France, and little things like that. So the water in France, you get many different spring water, which is great. But you have neutral one and you have a mineral rich one. So you just want to make sure that when you prepare your hydration, you don't use the wrong one. So all of these are neutral and these are mineral rich. So what do I mean by that is, for example, this one is huge in calcium. This one is huge in magnesium. It's kind of like you're taking magnesium supplement. And the last one, it's really salt-rich water. So the days before the race, it's actually quite nice because you don't need to add a noon. Basically, it's kind of like having a noon in your neutral water. So that's just a thing to know. So then for our famous QT2 system race breakfast, so applesauce, you don't need to carry your own unless you really like your own, obviously. But you can find non-sugar, and this is the most common brand. Other race essentials, I recommend that you bring your own, especially if you like to do the pre-race carbo load with pretzels. They're not as common in France, so instead of like taking a lot of time to search for it, just bring your own bag. The same with gels, bars, blocks, champs. You will have them and they may be at the expo, but you never know if they run out or if they don't have yours. So just make sure that you plan ahead and you pack it when you travel. And the same with your hydration powder. Just a thing to know, a fun fact, this is the supermarket brand, so it's really easy to see. I put the map, the only reason was to show you the race site is here. So all this old town perimeter, you can do it walking distance. You also have a tramway that is super easy to access. So to buy your water or anything, you have many really close by. So again, you don't really need a car to get what you need for the race. Things to know for those of you that like to swim before the race. So if I go back on this map, this is the race site. You actually have a tramway that do all of this all the way to here where the blue dot is. That's the swimming pool. And right by the swimming pool, you have a very big grocery store. So super easy to go. So this is why in case you like to swim, this is the hours and the address. If you want to do open water swim, you have lifeguard from 9 to 7. You can basically either go from the race site or even any other beach that you want. I just put that picture just to show you that you have the big yellow buoys at 300 meters. You don't want to go past that for safety. Whenever you have the cones like this, that means you have a boat exit. So make sure you don't cross those lines. There will be a lot of Ironman events, a run and Iron Kid, and you also have a swim. So because I'm talking about swim training, this is one of them. Eat. So a lot of place to eat. I put some pre-race and post-race. You have Italian local breakfast. The bakeries, you have many, and some of them where you can even sit in and quick eat. Also think that in supermarket, you have to-go food. So I put a brand where you have like a rice salad with eggs or things like that. So it's really nice and easy. Post-race, put a Irish pub that is pretty fun. The food is often overcooked, but the ambiance is pretty nice. There's now a Hard Rock Cafe and then some local sweets and salty things that you may enjoy. Remember, you're the one that will make Nice a World Championship to remember. So pick places where you can make great memories. These are some sites that you can see. This is basically in the old town. You have market. Here, that climb, you can go walk up there, and there's a cascade. If you like art, Matisse lived in Nice for a long time, and you can go and check his painting, and also a very traditional Nice estate where the museum is. And if you're more outdoor person, you can do some of the walks along the bay. And if you want to explore more, you can even go in the Alps. So this outdoor Nice, you can check out a lot of hiking trails and so on. So here it is. I hope that this presentation is going to get you ready for Nice a little bit further, and at least give you more confidence and feel a little bit more at home at that first edition. Remember to check the YouTube in case you want to go back and kind of stop on some of the details on the race course. Thanks again for joining in, and thanks for anyone that is going to watch that video. And don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any question, like even on some roads that I use that maybe you cannot find or something like that. Again, thanks everyone.